Okay, now I will explain the ERD, entity, which is entity relationship diagram for our lost and found system web application. Okay, in the DRD, there are tables where all the data will be stored into the database. Okay, so as you can see, here there are total 6 tables, which is admin, item, user, request, status, and archive. Okay, so for the first off, the admin table. So in the admin table will be stored the data for admin ID, which is a specific ID that's already stored in the database. Okay, so after that, item tables, there is item ID, which is auto increment, and when item is added, so it will be auto increment. And there is also date found, we store date, item location, we store the item location, varchar, brand also varchar, color also varchar, category type also varchar, the admin ID, because the admin is the one who add the item or edit the item. Okay, next, the request table. So in the request table, the request ID is also auto increment. And other than that, there is request data, in date, contact, in char, and all the foreign key, which is item ID, okay, user ID, and status ID. And not user ID, username, because the primary key for user is username. Okay, so move to user. I said, like just like I said before, the user tables, the primary key for user is username, not user ID. It is username. So username is when the user input a username, so it will be the primary key. There's also name in varchar and password in char. Okay, next, the status table. Status table, the status ID is also auto increment. No, I'm sorry. For the status table, the status ID is already already declared, because for this table, we just take the status ID for the status in the request. So for example, the status ID is 01, so the status type is pending. So for example, like that. For 02, rejected, example. So it will bring the pending and the rejected into the request. So that's why it is already been declared in the database. Okay, lastly, the archive table. In the archive table, for the archive ID is also auto increment. So there is also date claim, which is in date, description in varchar, picture in long block to store all the picture in here, and all the other foreign key inside here. So that's all the ERD for our system. So as you can see, this is the homepage of our system, and this is the homepage. So first of all, in our system there are two users, which is user and admin. So first we need to go to the admin to add some item, and after we add some item, the user can use the system to claim some item. So first we go to admin. So if you need to go to the admin, you can use this button over here, and this is the login for admin. As you can see, for admin to log in, the admin needs to put a specific ID in order for them to log in. So let me try some random ID. Are we able to log in, or we just not able to log in? Okay, so let's try some random ID. User does not exist. So it means that we need to use that specific ID for admin to log in the system. So I think this one is the right ID. So let's log in. Alright. Now we have successfully logged in into the system. So as you can see, this is the categories, which is there are electronics, clothing, accessories, and others. So let's take a look on inside this types inside the categories. Is there any item inside, or there is no item? So there is no record found because we does not add an item yet. So same goes to the other categories like clothing, record found, accessories, no record found, and others, no record found also. So first we need to add some item in order for the categories have some item inside it. Okay, so without further ado, let's add some item. Okay, this is the page for the add item. So for we to add an item, we need to put the brand of the item, the color, the item location where it found, and the date it found. Also the category, which will differentiate between the item. So first we put we need to follow the example given here. If you want to put phone, and in bracket the brand name. So first I think we put some phone, put the brand is iPhone. Okay, this looks good, and I think the color would be blue, would be nice. So the item location, mostly people will use their phone in the Pusat Islam, because after they done their pray, they forgot to they left their phone behind. So I think that's a right place. So where it's found, maybe 3 days ago. Okay, and the category, so for iPhone, it is an electronic. So we add the item. Now let's take a look inside the electronic. Is there any data that we have recently inserted? So as you can see, the phone is exactly like I've inserted just now for iPhone blue Pusat Islam 3 days ago. So let's add another one. This time I think I want to add laptop. Silver. Kita periksa dulu. 3 days ago. It's an electronic too. That's an item. Okay. Now there is 2 items inside the electronics category. Okay, after we've add the item that we desired, so we can also edit the item if there any error or misinformation or something that we forgot to add. So we can edit. For example, I want to edit the item ID for the item ID number 2. So I can just click here, edit. And then the item will bring all the data, which is the item ID number 2. As you can see here. So I think I want to edit the location. Maybe it's not in Pusat Islam. Maybe in it's a laptop. So maybe Dewan Titi Wangsa. Maybe it's found in Dewan Titi Wangsa. So I just click the update. Let's take a look. And as you can see, location have renewed to a new location, which is Dewan Titi Wangsa. As before, is Pusat Islam. So that's is all. That's the edit button. So now we need to continue to the user part because we need to request first in order for this page to appear. So for user to log in into the system, they need to click over here, claim yours now. They click here. They need to register first before they can log in. So let's register our name. Example, I put some name, full name, and then username. I put Bashir. For the password, let's try 123 for an easy. Do not forget. For example, for confirm password, I put the wrong, different password as I input in the first password. So let's try. I put here 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see what happens. And it will alert password do not match. So we need to put the exact password as we input before. So here we put 1, 2, 3. This I want to put one. We need to put 1, 2, 3 also. So we need to register. The registration is a success. Okay. So after we done register an account, so we can move to login. Okay, so for login, like the username that we have put before, Abash, and the password is 123. Okay, so let's log in. Okay, this is the user interface for the user. As you can see, the menu is not as much as the admin because the user can't add an item and many more. They just can view the item and view their request status. So let's take a look. Here is the item that the admin have insert earlier. So let's take a look at the other. Is it the same as the admin or so it's the same? No record found. No record found. And no record found. So you can see there is only 2 items been added just like the admin did earlier. So for the user, if the user thinks that this is the item that they lose, so they can request the item by clicking the button here. Okay. So this is the information, and they need to input their contact number, and it will be for the admin to it will be easier for the admin to call them if to call them and confirm is it their item or not. For example, I put some phone number. Okay. So after I put the contact number, send request. Your request has been recorded. Please wait for further info. Okay. So after request an item, we can go to the request status to view is our request have been accepted, approved, or rejected, or is it still pending. So for the user to look into the request status, the user need to search for it, because if there is a lot of item that they have request, so it will be easier for them to search it. So please search using your requested item type, if any, if they have request any item. So for example, earlier I just request a phone, so I just type the phone, so search. There you go. It is the status of the item I have been requested earlier, so it's still pending because the admin does not approve it or reject it yet. So okay, so this is the request status. So after the user have request an item, we need to go back to the admin for them to either approve it or reject it. Put the ID, right, and click request status. As you can see, the request status have some data, not like before. There is no record found. So because the user have request an item, so this page input some data, output some data. So this is the request ID and the name of the user that request the phone, right? Brand, the color, the status still pending. This is phone number. So what is this? After so the admin can contact the person, and do some investigation and confirm it with them. Is it really their item, or they just playing, just want to take advantage, right? They want to have a nice phone or whatever. So the admin will confirm it with them, do some investigation, right? And then after a few investigation, if it is truly the item, so the admin will update the status by clicking update here. So this is the information, and they can renew the status. For example, just now it's pending, so if it approved, you can pick approve or rejected. So I think I want to pick approve, so update. As you can see, the status has been updated to approve. Now let's take a look for the user part. So let's type in phone like earlier, and the request status have been approved. So after the request status has been approved, they can go to the UPK or the place where the admin operate and claim the item. Now after the status will be updated and the user have already seen the status and claim the item, the admin need to archive the item before really delete it. So by clicking the archive button, so this is the information. They have to include a picture that shows that it is really the user item. For example, I choose file, iPhone, right? iPhone blue. Click here, and the date is today, and then put the description for the user. Okay, so click archive. So it will redirect me to the archive page. So here's the list of archive item. Name Abdullah Yash, item ID 1, brand phone, iPhone, color blue, and here is the picture that I've attached earlier. So if I want to look at the picture, I need to click here, and it will redirect me to a page. This is the picture that I've put, and a phone, and a blue iPhone, right? So that's all after the user have claimed an item and the user and the admin have approved it. So the admin need to archive the item. As you can see in the request status, there is no record found because the request has been archived, has been kept here. After we completely archive the item, there have been requests. So the request status the page for the request status will be empty, no record found, because the request has been already archived into this page right here. So the record for this page have already empty. So after we successfully archive the item, we need to delete this item because we don't want for any other user to request for it anymore, because it's already been claimed, it's already been approved and already been archived. So we need to delete this item by clicking this button over here. So we click delete, item deleted successfully. Press OK. Let's take a look. Is the item already gone, or it's in there? So as you can see, the item is already gone because we already deleted it. Let's take a look at the archive, and it's also gone. No record found because we completely delete the item. So that's all for user interface, for the whole user interface, for the user and admin, for our lost and found system. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Alright, now I will show you about our mobile application. So here, as you can see at my phone screen here, this is our home page. So actually our mobile is quite simple. Just let the user to view the item that has been registered into our system. So here, if the user want to access to our system, they must click here, claim yours now. So click here, and then it will direct to the login page. So here user must log in to access into our system. So before login, the user also must register into our system, right? So this is the button register. Click the button register and it will go to the register page, right? So before I show you, at my screen right now, I will show you the database. This is our database. As you can see, it's only have 4 data, right? Okay, so if I register, and then after I register, the user will the data of the full name, username, password, and confirm password will go in, will store in the database, right? So before that, if I let it empty the text box, if I click at the register, it will pop up notification shows that the username and password are empty. So the user must fill in all the text box. So here I put the full name, full name, and then the username, okay, and then the password is 123, and then the confirm password is 123. All right, and then I click on the register button. So it will redirect to the login page for the user to log in. So you look at my screen right now. If I refresh it, right? So Abdul Hamid has been added into our database. Okay. So after the user register, they will need to log in into our system. So Hamid, sorry, and then the password is 123, and then we click on login. Login. All right. And then after we click on login, it will access into our system. So here is the user page. So the user can look for the item in our system. So if they want to look the item in our system, they click here, click to view the list of items. So click here, and then here is the list of item that has been stored in our database. So you can, if you look at my screen, I show you the item. This is the item that has been stored in our database. So it is the same, right? So user can also search in here. So if we click here, and then for example, the user want to search for his calculator. So calculator, yeah, it has the calculator. If they want to search for their laptop, for example, have the laptop. All right. And then after that, after the user have found their item, they can log out from our system. Just click on the log out button, and then it will notify the user, return to login page, confirm or cancel. Then the user can click on confirm, and then it will redirect to the login page. Right. I think that is all for our mobile application. Thank you.